Welcome back to Some Kind of Fun. I'm joined here by the two Wills of Frozen Teens.
That's right. Hello.
Hey.
So let's start. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
I'm Will Simon. I play guitar and sing in Frozen Teens. Currently in a band called Lifestyle Shakes. Live on the south side here.
Nice.
Have for quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Will Olsen, and what was the question? Tell us
just
about yourself.
A little bit about yourself.
Who are you?
Yeah, in Frozen Teens, I played bass. I play guitar most of the time now, and yeah, also been living here in Minneapolis for a while. 20 years, I guess.
About 20 as well.
Since I moved from St. Paul.
Yeah.
When I was
So
young man.
how did Frozen Teens start? And then you can lead us up to the at least temporary hiatus you went on for a number of years to rise like a phoenix from the ashes.
Yes.
There's been a few of those.
Yeah.
We formed in 2009?
2009.
And I think mine and our drummer Ski, who's not here today with us, we had a band and that kind of blew up, and we were just kind of figuring out what to do next because we knew we wanted to play with each other again, and he had suggested getting together with Will.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how you and I met. Was at our first practice.
Yeah,
pretty much, and we just kind of took it from there. Took a lot of songs that we had been working on for previous projects that we just kind of carried over.
Okay.
And then a couple new ones as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we met. I think we did meet at the very first practice. Ski, or the drummer, he lives in Fargo now. He sort of brought us together.
Okay.
And Cortez the Killer, their band, that was like a little bit of the prehistory.
Okay.
And then I had been in a band where a guy moved out of town and we were looking for another guy, and then I was playing with Ski a little bit, but nothing was happening, and I think that's kind of how he convened the band, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were at first practice at a punk house called Shit Biscuit, where we ended up playing a lot. We practiced at a house called the Ass Castle. Yeah, some these punk house names kind of they play off each other. You get the House of the Lard, and then you get the Pork Avenue, and on and on. So
yes,
that's where we got our start.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys were, from what I read, kind of blowing up a little bit back then. And, or you describe it.
In town, it was. I would say it was fairly. We were doing pretty well. I'd say, like, kind of from the get go.
Okay.
And and that sort of continued throughout. Being a band, like, we always played to pretty good crowds here, and when we did go on tour too, I think we always had pretty good crowds out there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a lot of touring pretty quickly in the first couple of years. Sort of all around, 3-week or 2-week type deals.
One coast or the other.
One coast or the other.
Down south a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, we played locally. We were playing like the punk basement circuit all the time, late nights there, and then occasionally we kind of surface from the basements to play the Triple Rock or
Hexagon.
Definitely
the Hexagon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was the impetus that brought everything back together now?
Will sent me a text 2 months ago now, and it just said, what are you doing New Year's Eve? And I just texted back, I'm in. I knew exactly what he was asking.
Yeah.
We played our final show New Year's Eve 2014. So it's 10 years this year. And, we had kind of made playing a New Year's Eve show sort of a tradition a little bit for us.
Yeah, there were a number of good ones I remember.
Yeah. And that was, we have a song called New Year.
Yes, we do.
Which is about going to a party on New Year's and waking up with a hangover. And for me, I appreciated us having these New Year's shows because it meant I didn't have to go wander around some party with no purpose other than getting totally fucked up. So instead, we'd play our shows and get totally fucked up there.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
At least it gives you something to do with your
Sums it
hands
up
while
nicely,
you're doing
It's
that.
nice to have a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a half hour out of the night to do something good.
Yeah.
With yourself, with your talents.
And how each of you individually get into the music scene? Was it something you've been doing your whole lives?
Yeah. I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, and I did, when I was a teenager, played in bands up there, and moved here in my early 20s, probably 21, and I didn't really get into the scene right away. Going to shows, and I definitely knew a few people from going from Fargo to Minneapolis to play shows.
Sure.
But I didn't really start playing until maybe a good year or two into living here.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up like totally obsessed with the Beatles, and it was my mom was a huge Beatles fan. She was had all the records, singles, and these are like the American versions of that early stuff, different track lists, and we had it all on CD, and there's a big book of Beatles sheet music in the house and stuff, and I was just like I still feel that way about the Beatles. I would even say that they're underrated. And I started playing guitar when I was pretty, maybe 12 years old or something like that. And started trying to write some songs, had a couple, couple attempts at a band. My first sort of real band, my real first punk band was called Friendly. It was me and two other guys kind of from the neighborhood, and we started venturing in to Minneapolis. We were taking the bus to Extreme Noise, and we were going to this venue called Mala's, which is actually where I first met Ski. He was one of the volunteers there, and I was some kid trying to buy beer, and it was our goal. Friendly, we were like, we gotta play Mala's. That was like the biggest thing we could possibly do.
Sure.
And we did eventually, and I was so nervous at that show that I forgot to take my backpack off before we played. Yeah. And about halfway through, our 15
What's
minute
with the
set.
backpack?
Yeah, right. I'm like, dang, should I take it off or should I just,
Actually, it probably looks pretty cool. I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, right. Maybe nobody noticed.
You might have been pulling it off. I wasn't here yet. So,
Yeah.
It has that proletariat type feel to it.
Yeah.
I'm a working person with a backpack.
Well,
I'm gonna...
I was a high school student.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually what it was. And, from there, being in that band, meant just exposed me to, all the scene that was going on, punk scene stuff. And I just continued to write songs and play. A couple kind of abortive attempts later, we formed Frozen Teens. And, you know, that was, for me at least, it was the, you know, the songs that we were writing and making were sort of different from, you know, some of the aggression of the punk I've been playing before. And it was, you know, a way to sort of bring this, I guess, this like love of the tuneful and the, you know, melodic and the key change and the bridge, all this stuff I learned from loving the Beatles kind of into this punk context. You know, after Frozen Teens, I've been doing Constant Insult for a number of years now and just continuing to, you know, to write and things like that. So,
well, there's nothing I personally like more than melodic punk from, you know, Candy Apple Grey, Husker Du type era to, So I'm looking forward to this show a lot.
Yeah. I was gonna mention too that in that 2 years that I wasn't really playing when I first moved here. Yeah. I didn't grow up with the Beatles, so that's the 2 years that I was absolutely like just cramming it into my head and really learning how to, you know, become a songwriter with, you know, those bridges and those key changes and all that stuff. So I think, you know, once we got together, it was kind of like, all right, this guy gets it.
Yeah, we were driving over here and talking about the new Scorsese Beatles thing.
Beatles 64 that comes out on, I think it's on Disney this weekend.
Yeah, and we
after Thanksgiving.
We got lost because we were just talking about it and made a wrong turn.
Lost in our own fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we've claimed South Minneapolis pretty hard in the, you know, in our Frozen Teens days. So
yeah,
that's gonna make people
you knew
laugh.
you weren't too far off.
No.
Yeah, we weren't lost. We just weren't where we were supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I knew.
And so now you said your drummer still lives in Fargo, though, right?
Yeah,
so
he lived here for longer than both of us probably.
Okay.
But just recently moved back last year. He and I are both from there.
Okay. All right. So it's not like you're going to be doing weekly shows.
No,
as the Frozen Teens.
No, this is one and
this
one
is
and
it.
done.
One and
One
done.
only.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right in the camera. Oh, well, I'm very excited for this show coming up.
Us too.
I appreciate it. And,
Yeah.
We mention your other bands? Your Lifestyle Shakes was a very fun punk outfit, and Constant Insult. Love that band. Love Katie.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
We should mention the other bands playing the show too.
Well, Miracle Debt.
Miracle Debt
with Katie.
Katie's other band.
Very excited.
Texture Freak.
Yep.
Making Out.
Yeah.
And Pleasure Cube.
Yeah.
So, you know, even if we weren't playing,
It'd be a good
pretty
bill.
solid
great
show.
I'd be there.
Bill.
Yeah.
And that is the Eagles Club on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
And is there advance tickets, or is it all at the door?
There are advance tickets. We did one pre-sale, which is sold out, but we'll be opening another one up on Friday, day after Thanksgiving. So there should be more available end of the week.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
all right.
Hopefully a flyer for the show too.
All right.
Yeah, we got one of those.
I think with those two things, we're gonna maybe coincide. So
Great.
releasing more tickets and putting the flyers up.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Looking forward to your performance.